call the security. We've got a possible domestic violence call. Female is bleeding from the nose and mouth.
I bet you it's John Jones. I look in the thing, it was like John Jones, and I seen his girlfriend.
Do you know where this happened at?
We believe it happened in the room. So she's not admitting to any domestic violence, any physical violence. But I mean, she's bleeding from the nose and mouth. She's down with us while the male is up at the room, and he's actually a professional MMA fighter, Chandler Jones.
A few hours before that 911 call, Jon Jones gets inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame for taking part in one of the greatest fights of all time.
That fight with Alexander Gustafsson was one of the toughest things I had to do in my years, both mentally and physically. It was only 25 minutes, but I learned a lot about myself in that 25 minutes.
Jon Jones struggles with alcohol. Like when alcohol's in the system, something bad happens with the police. Like we saw the previous video as well, and this was a domestic case. I think alcohol is very dangerous for him.
Jon Jones may be losing this fight going into the championship round.
The fourth and fifth round, I pulled from something that I didn't know I had inside of me.
There's a lot of anxiety in the corner of the champion, Mike.
I remember the fight.
And there's a nice elbow. Caught him. Oh, that might have hurt him.
Yeah, that's it.
It's probably the hardest battle I had in my career.
I saw 3 Jones out there.
Gustafsson is hurt, and he looks for the spin again. Gustafsson's busted up now. Final seconds of the round. Flying knee.
Jon Jones is such a beast. Winning over Jon Jones is bigger than taking the belt.
Incredible fight. Incredible fight. Who would have thought we'd be going into the 5th round, and Jon Jones might have to take Gustafsson out.
This was the video we saw where we said Jon Jones had the most damage on his face in his whole career because every fight was coming out clean. This fight, fucked.
To retain his title.
Forever, now I do know what I'm like when things get tough.
Gustafsson looks to take Jones out. Nice uppercuts. Those punches are busting up the mouth of Jon Jones. Nice elbows. Head kick. Big head kick. And Gustafsson just put his hands on his hips like he was exhausted. Another head kick. Both of these guys are pushed to their limit in this fight. Spinning elbow from Gustafsson. Hands up. Hands up. 30 seconds. There's a head kick again. And another. Incredible. And an elbow. They're going to go the distance. Flying knee by Jones. Wow. That might be the greatest title fight in the history of the light heavyweight division.
What a mad fight.
His victory against Gustafsson solidifies the Jones family as one of the most prolific in American sports history. The same year, his older brother Arthur wins the Super Bowl, while his younger brother Chandler plays his 2nd season with the New England Patriots.
This is about $1 billion one-shot.
That's a really good year for the Jon Jones family.
That's good because they're all into some form of sport.
Yeah, NFL from
Yeah,
this. Sick.
wow.
One family would produce a Baltimore Raven and a young stud New England Patriot. How do you explain that all 3 of you came from the same household?
Grew up in the inner city of Rochester.
It's a really small town, and
We share the same bedroom, all 3 of us. Yeah, we share the same bedroom.
oh my God!
I'm the middle as far as age, but when it comes to size, I'm the smallest by far of my brothers. So I've been getting my butt kicked since I was a little boy. Chandler and Arthur was always exceptional. You know, they were always the captains of the football team. I was always like 3rd string. My freshman year wrestling, my record was 5-35. I got my butt whooped. I was never the strongest, never the fastest, never had the best physique.
I thought, though, they called you Bones because you broke people's bones, but apparently they said it's because your brothers used to call you Skin and Bones?
Yeah, I was so skinny.
My wrestling coach gave me the nickname of Bones, yeah.
No, it's just always been a great competition growing up to be the best, and
Everything was a competition. You know, we were running around the house.
Johnny Bones. Now I understand where the bones comes from.
Yeah, I thought Bones was like bone breaker or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
Not because he's skinny.
Oh.
Open the refrigerator the fastest. Who can drink the most milk?
But they'd be so mad. They come home, there's holes in the walls.
furniture broken.
You know, the foundation of the couch is cracked. Beds are broken.
Right.
This scar in the middle of my forehead, it's from this guy.
I got one too now.
My father actually bought a wrestling net and put it in our basement just so we wouldn't break furniture. When we get home, as soon as we get home, we would take our backpacks off and we would go in the basement and we'll just get 5-minute rounds apiece and we'll just wrestle.
My dad's a great guy. You know, he's a pastor. You know, him being a spiritual leader, you know, he really taught us the importance of faith and belief I felt growing up he was always a little harder on me. You know, we looked a lot alike, and we had the same personality, so we would butt heads a lot. He was a guy who was so passionate about us succeeding in sports to the point where he made wrestling this competition for us, where he would give us $6 if we got a pin, $2 if we won, like in the finals.
My mom was really the bully.
It's nice that their family made arrangements for them to, like, you know, pursue their dreams and get better.
Other fan, that's where John get it from.
She's the strong one of the household. I think she wears the pants.
My mom always taught us, one fight, we all fight. So we jumped a lot of people growing up.
Dude, I got my butt kicked when I was a lot younger. A kid named Leonard, he came over, double leg dived me. My head hit the concrete so hard that my eyes started watering. This guy grounded pounded me. And then my mom was such a saint. She came outside and gave this boy a big old hug and was like, oh, wow.
The thing is,
doing that, baby.
No one believes that guy.
I remember from a young age, she's always kept us in the soup kitchens at our church, you know, feeding the homeless. And, you know, I always remember her helping out a lot of women who dealt with domestic violence. And
You said he's a professional MMA fighter?
Yeah.
And she's in security holding right now?
No, she's on the casino floor, and she has three young girls with her.
She's refusing medical?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man. So humiliating. I got the Hall of Fame tonight. Hey, man, you're going to put me on this by walking down the street. Humiliating, my Hall of Fame night. You're f***ing nerd. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. You fucking nerd. I hate you so much.
A few weeks after his arrest, John shares this tweet, then immediately deletes it. My life wasn't always great, man. Being molested as a child, losing a parent and a sibling to disease at a young age. It goes on and on. I got things I need to deal with.
You and your family have dealt with some...
He was molested as a child.
Yeah, that's sad. That's traumatic. Must have affected his raising.
It affects everybody.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh my
man.
God.
pretty real stuff, including the loss of your sister.
I had a sister who passed away. She was 18 years old. She had brain cancer. You know, to see a girl who kind of seemed flawless to me at the time. You know, she was only 18 when she died, and she was a part of the church. She was a part of our choir. She was on the high school basketball team, high honor roll student. She was doing everything right. And then, you know, to have her just everything taken away from her, her beauty, her hair, you know, to have it all fall out. It was hard to see, and it was hard to witness and kind of grasp and understand why.
I can't understand. I can't understand for the life of me why God would send me to Binghamton, and within a year or two, he would take my only daughter, and one day he used to sing in church, and the spirit and the power, the presence, and the anointing of God would come down. Yeah. God, why you wouldn't take some of them folks out there? Why wouldn't you take some of those bad folks? But then you take mine. Hello, somebody. And God says, why not? She's not exempt. Hello? Then I looked at the word and it says, God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life.
Her name was Carmen. Her favorite verse from the Bible was Philippians 4:13.
You're a religious person, but you have a tattoo.
Right.
You have a religious tattoo, which is double ironic. Because it says in the Bible not to get tattooed.
Right, not to mess with the temple. Right.
But then you gotta
pick and choose, right? What you want to listen to. You know, I wear this tattoo on my chest, Philippians 4:13, that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And I genuinely believe that I can do anything. Coming out of high school, I started drinking in high school, and I always felt like I needed alcohol to be cool or to conquer anxiety. Well, I was kind of more reserved, you know, trying to figure out who I was going to be as a person and where my place was in this world. During the lunch breaks, I didn't really have a huge group of friends, so I would find myself standing there talking to the security officer, and I just became infatuated with the job that he had. You know, I thought it was awesome, and I thought to myself, you know, these people are stand-up individuals. You know, people look up to them. They're helping others. They're being macho. You know, this is right down my alley. So I always knew I wanted to go to school for criminal justice and become a police officer.
John gets into...
So he wants to be a police officer. That's interesting. I feel like John Jones is very relatable to a lot of people. And I think that's why he's got such a good fan base, because people could relate to him. He's not like this guy who's got a silver spoon, growing up, and he wasn't given the best of lifestyles. He had a lot taken from him from young. And I think that's just a relatable position to be in, and he's conquered.
I think that's why at the end of all his fights, he always says, "Oh, guys, see, look at me. If I can do it, you can do it." He's always given a motivational speech saying, "Look, guys, I can do it. You can do it as well. Follow your dreams." And it's because of his upbringing.
Yeah.
To Iowa Central Community College in criminal justice. Yet the drinking continues.
It just went from high school to college when you get party even more.
But it doesn't seem to affect his performances. Quite the contrary.
You won everything in college.
Yeah, I won a state championship in high school and a national championship my freshman year in Iowa, so yeah.
But at the end of his first year, John finds out his girlfriend Jessie is pregnant. He's forced to choose between his college wrestling dreams or going back home with Jessie.
Suddenly, I'm a dropout. A few months after I was done with school, I was a bouncer for a while. I was looking for some jobs and some opportunities, and I'm working at a bar. And I was applying to be a janitor because I would have benefits. I'm telling people that I want to be a UFC fighter. It was kind of embarrassing in some way. I'm running into all these kids my age. John, I thought you were in college. It's like, oh, well, actually, I thought I'd try the fighting thing.
I rate him, though, because he could have easily said, like, I'm not gonna be there as a dad and carried on with his college, because he had it going good, but then he literally gave it all up to stick with a woman that he got pregnant. So respect to that, man.
Gonna be a what? A cage fighter? I'm like, yeah, the UFC thing. And they're like, oh, well, cool. I'm in my last year and my accounting degree or my business major. I literally got on all these TED Talks and on YouTube, and I just started YouTubing videos about self-belief and what does it mean to be confident? What does it mean to be a winner? I made sure that all those kids that I was looking in the eyes, tell them that I wanted to be a UFC fighter, and the ones that doubted me or looked at me funny, I made sure that I would prove them wrong one day.
So he wanted to become a wrestler before.
So he was on track going down the wrestling route. Thing is, with UFC, a lot of UFC fighters, wrestling's a massive core skill to know. Jiu-jitsu, wrestling, like all of them know it. Like the better wrestler you are, like Khabib, the better you're going to do generally. So then back then UFC, I'm assuming, wasn't a big thing. So everyone's thinking, what the fuck?
Why are you getting to UFC
like, they probably don't even know what it is. They probably had to Google it and shit. Like, what the fuck is UFC? But now
it's a massive thing, and wrestling's not even
tables have turned. UFC bought wrestling. You know that?
God,
WWE or whatever's on UFC. They're joint enterprise now.
And I would watch hours and hours of Tony Robbins and Les Brown, and I'm reading a book called Relentless right now. It talks about being a cleaner.
I read that book like 3 years ago, so
it's a good book.
It's a good book.
It's a great book.
It might have helped me get here, to be honest.
I'm reading it right now in this training camp leading into beating your ass.
Think Michael Jordan, the ultimate cleaner. Michael never cared about achieving mere greatness. He cared about being the best ever. Larry Bird is a cleaner. Kobe, Dwayne, cleaners. Pat Riley, Phil Jackson, Charles Barkley. In the business world, we're talking about Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. Most presidents are cleaner. And good luck getting re-elected if you're not. Stardom doesn't make you a cleaner. Winning does. And not just winning once. You have to be able to do it again and again.
Michael Jordan and like Tiger Woods before his controversy, I looked at these guys as being the ideal champion. I have a goal and I have a dream in the sport, and that's to make it to the very top of the ladder. Being some sort of leader and a role model to, younger athletes who want to do the same things or similar things.
Now that we're, adults, we're still competing at everything we do to be the best, and we work hard every single day to outdo each other.
I ain't done yet now. The New England Patriots select Chandler Jones.
We in Times Square right here, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like $1 million right now.
A lot of times.
He was the main card on the town square. That's sick.
Will he ever lose? No, never. He will never lose.
I love how supportive they are for one each other.
My brother will never lose. Do you know who he is?
Do you know who my brother is? Get it right.
That's something that I think he was born to do. I think this guy just opened the door.
My phone.
Chandler, help me. Chandler, help me.
I'm recording. I'm doing all this.
Don't break the furniture.
The furniture, but come on, guys.
Don't make me put you back in the basement.
I'm sure they could afford it now. Dana White, the president.
When you're a cleaner, you have a dark side that refuses to be taught good. That's how you keep your dark side dark. A cleaner with a strong dark side can succeed at whatever he chooses, and his path is usually determined at an early age by his family or environment or culture. At some point in his life, something challenged him and made him survive, and the result was his total confidence that whatever happened to him, his instincts would cover his ass and he'd be okay.
I had this crazy thing that I would do where I would party 1 week before every fight, and I did it throughout my whole career.
You fought Alexander Gustafsson.
1 week before a fight, man's raving, partying, drinking, sniffing cocaine. You admitted to that.
Honest about that. How much did you train for that fight?
I partied my tail off for Gustafsson, and I won the fight knowing I didn't deserve to win that fight.
Watch this. I control it all. It doesn't control me. I own this.
What gets John in trouble is because every four weeks before his fight, he likes to blow off a little bit of steam.
Blow off a little too literally, unfortunately.
Yeah, a little too literally.
UFC champ Jon Jones said that he'd take his drug treatment program very seriously after testing positive for a cocaine metabolite in a December 4th drug test. But he never said for how long. Jones's mother, Camille, admitted Monday that her son left the rehab facility after just one night.
His behavior, do you think it's related to everything that he went through as a child? And bear in mind that he was molested as well.
Most probably, because he said in college,
yeah,
he was drinking a lot to help him get over anxiety and stuff like that. So I feel like what you just said definitely relates. You know, them experiences when you're young will traumatically change your life. As a kid. Your innocence is taken away from you, and I think, you know, these things has definitely shaped him to have these issues.
And also because he became, you know, a professional UFC fighter with all this fame, he had easy access to drugs,
Party life,
sex.
He's getting VIP
everything.
in clubs.
Yeah.
I'm sure, you know, although he could afford it, all the alcohol service, that's probably free just for him to be there because he's a UFC champion. It's a big thing now. You know, he's literally got access to everything.
And then when you're under the influence of alcohol, that's when your true side comes out as well.
And I don't think he takes it well as well, the alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, some people can handle the alcohol. I don't think, from the videos we're seeing, alcohol is not his friend. Let's just say that.
Then admitted he'd been partying before the crash.
There's something in him that's causing him to keep going back to that place.
He is his own worst enemy.
Did anybody step in and say, hey man, you gotta get your shit together?
Oh, I've had a lot of people tell me I need to get my shit together.
I think everybody thinks of me like, or us like high school coaches, like, well, did you get him on the right track? He's almost 30 years old. He's a grown-ass man. This isn't high school, nor is it even college.
Throughout my whole career, everybody said to me, John, what would happen if you didn't drink, you didn't smoke? Imagine how great you could be. My Open St. Preux fight was the first fight that I did not do that. It was my worst performance.
And soon the dark side expands beyond John.
His body's so used to it that he needs it. That's his worst performance. Man nearly lost his first fight because he didn't blow out steam 4 weeks before.
And much of what happened when Chandler Jones walked into the Foxborough police station on Sunday morning is still a mystery. The defensive end went into the police station around 7:45 Sunday morning.
Definitely involved in Class D Delta.
Is he good? Is he cool? Yeah, Chandler's doing great.
And 6 months after Chandler, John tests positive for PEDs.
I'm very disappointed with all the stuff that's happened to him, obviously, and
He's been in that same situation a couple of times. This is not the first time.
well, he definitely is a wild mother.
He is. He is.
And 2 weeks after John, Arthur also tests positive.
But does no one think it's very suspicious that John and then his brother who's in the NFL test positive for PEDs? You think that's a coincidence?
Dana White says that you are embracing your role as the bad guy. Would you agree with that?
No, I wouldn't agree with embracing a role as a bad guy. Done some bad things, but I strive to be a good person.
And less than a year later, their mother passes away.
Oh, shit.
When we spoke earlier this year, you told me that you checked into a rehab center.
Yeah, I did.
Because of everything that's going on, plus to deal with your mom's passing, right?
Yeah.
When you're there,
it was more like a trauma center. It was trauma and rehab. Yeah.
Okay.
So I got to learn a lot about the whole thing, about depression, about trauma, about addiction, and I feel tremendous. I feel a weight lifted off my shoulders, and I actually think it's going to be something that I do every summer.
Cleaner law. Control your dark side. Don't let it control you. Who's in charge? You or your dark side?
And here we are again. It's hard to bring this guy to Las Vegas for any reason. This guy's got a lot of demons, man. A lot of demons.
Hurt me in my fuck whole damn life. Just because I'm big and black. And what did I do? All these
A cleaner controls his urges, not the other way around. The dark side isn't about taking stupid risks and getting in trouble. That would show weakness. You can feel your desires and act on them or not act on them. Your self-control is what distinguishes you from everyone else. Look at what happened to poor Dr. Jekyll. He ultimately killed himself when he realized Mr. Hyde, his dark side, was emerging on its own, and he could no longer control the uncontrollable.
Because sometimes people, they don't survive situations like that.
Because they're so wild and they're having a good time too much and they're partying, and they're the champ.
It has to come to an end. That stuff, if you don't bring it to an end, it's gonna come to its own end.
I love Mike Tyson.
When I go back home, do I have anything to show for it? All the time that you put in? Some of y'all sitting here now say, do it. Help me, what do you have to show for it?
It must be so difficult for his dad when, you know, these things were happening. It's all over the news. As a parent, that must be so
Being
tough.
a pastor as well.
Pastor as well, yeah. It's so tough, man.
I came from my Hall of Fame ceremony, and I'm black, and I have my friends, and I did nothing to you. And I'm not, it was at a ceremony with the Hall of Fame friends. I'm not going to answer your questions no more, you fuck.
Trying to get high with these young kids. It's time to come on in.
I hate you. I hate you.
What do you have to show for? Look how long you done got high. Look how long you done played. You ain't got nothing to show for it. You in jail, you can't vote. You spent all your time in jail. You ain't got nothing to show for it. You been a drug addict that long. You ain't got nothing to show for it. You been a drunk that long. You ain't got nothing to show for it. You been in school, but you still ain't got nothing to show for it.
You did it, sir. Yes, sir.
All the time you had, and you ain't got nothing to show for it. The greatest of all time. You took him in John Jones.
Last thing.
Oh my God. I did not... You know what? Before reacting to John Jones, I didn't really know who he was until you guys recommended it. And then now seeing his background, oh my God.
Yeah, I didn't know he went through all that at a young age. I knew more about the recent stuff, but not like, you know, that explains a lot as to why he kind of behaves the way he behaves a lot of the time.
You never know what someone's been through just because they're all happy on stage and everything.
Or successful.
It's all a mask. You don't know what their background is.
Thank you so much, guys, for sending us that video. You know, anything else like that, send them through. We love these mini documentaries. I think they're so cool to watch. Any last words?
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, guys. Peace out.